Being joined now, John Franco, legendary Met, is with us. Johnny, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
John, what does Mets-Yankees mean to you?
Oh, it's a little bragging rights for a couple of days in the city. The players will be lying if they say that it doesn't mean nothing to them. It's just another game. We always felt like we wanted to beat the Yankees, and I'm sure the Yankees felt like they always wanted to beat the Mets.
As a New York kid growing up and seeing a whole bunch of these games, it really didn't take its full force until the World Series.
Yeah, well, I think, if we didn't have that interleague stuff, and then we both met in the World Series, it would have been much more electrifying. The city would have gone crazy, but it was still great time to play the Yankees in the World Series. Unfortunately, we came on the short end of it, but it was still a great time. I think the Met fans and Yankee fans both loved it.
John, what do you make of the Diaz suspension?
Well, I sure would have liked to see the umpires give him a chance to wash his hands. I mean, I know a couple of pitches around the league when they got checked, they let them go inside and wash their hands, but rules are rules, and the umpires felt that his hands were too sticky at the time, and unfortunately for Diaz, he's got suspended for 10 days now.
10 days, yeah.
I always try to tell the young guys, is it probably you, Nelson?
Oh, yeah.
Chew 2 or 3 pieces of bazooka gum. Yeah. And let them check your hands, and then you wet your fingers on the mound, and the sugar makes your hands sticky. That's it. That's an old veteran trick.
That's a tip from my Uncle Johnny right there.
But it's a loss for this team, there's no doubt, because he was starting to find himself once again after he came off that IL.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a little hiccup on the way and went back down on the disabled list, got himself together, came back, started throwing the ball the way we know how he's capable of throwing the ball. And it's unfortunate that now he has to sit out 10 days, especially with the Yankee series. And the team is playing well now, so it's a big miss.
I've had a lot of people who have opinions about, what happened, the sticky stuff, was he using it? Here's my take on it, and as a former pitcher and a former great closer, when you're having your hand caked up before your last 8 warm-ups, what advantage does that give you?
No advantages, really. And it gives you no advantage. I'm surprised he, didn't clean his hands before he came out, knowing that you're going to get checked by the umpires. So not just Diaz, it's just every pitcher in baseball who gets checked and they get nailed for having some type of substance. It's not the smartest thing in the world. I mean, these guys could clean their hands before they come out because they know they're going to get checked.
But at the same time, right, you know that you have 8 more pitches to throw regardless if they checked or didn't.
Absolutely.
It's gone. It's worn off. So what good is it if it was going to do it?
It doesn't do no good. No good. I mean, you still get those 8 pitches and doesn't matter. After you throw those 8 pitches,
reload it again.
Yeah, after you get those 8 pitches, then you go into your back pocket and reload.
Now, John, got to ask you about Soto, right? Great with the Yankees this year. A lot of speculation that maybe he's a Met after this season. How do you think he's received tonight at Citi FIeld?
I think they're going to probably give him a standing ovation. I mean, that they played against him all these years when he was with the Nationals. The kid's a great player. And we'll be very fortunate if we can get him at the end of the season. But, he's a Yankee now and he's the enemy. But, hopefully he does well, not too much to hurt us. But he'll be a great addition. But that's up to Met management and ownership, and we'll see what happens.
Now, there's going to be a lot of Met fans, a lot of Yankee fans, and you know this. Baseball runs this city, right? And you're a native New Yorker. But I'm curious, for the players that are taking part of it, does it mean just as much to them as it does the fans?
Like I said earlier, I'd be lying to you. The players, it means a lot to the players. I remember when Mr. Steinbrenner was alive. He didn't want to lose to us for nothing. And he made sure that his guys were comfortable over there. And Mr. Wilpon didn't want to lose to the Yankees. So between ownership and the players, every player wants to win. We have a couple of bragging rights. You got 2 games here now, and with August, there's 2 games in Yankee Stadium. But it's always good to. It's a good rivalry. It's great for the fans. It's great for baseball.
Well, last thing for me is, since Edwin Diaz is out, they don't really have a closer. What do you think's the strategy?
For me, if I could pitch at 30 feet, maybe I could come in and play.
Get you an L screen. You'd be fine.
I think Mendoza, Carlos is going to do key matchup, and whoever, Drew Smith or Adavito will come in there. But I think he's going to do matchups, and I think it's going to be relying on.
So they can survive.
I think they'll survive. They survived with him, when he was hurt and he missed. So, it's the next man up. You got to step up. If you want to compete. and you want to win, guys got to step in and do their job when the top guys are hurt.
All right, John, next 2 nights, Mets sweep, split, what do you expect?
Yeah, hopefully we sweep, man.
There it is.
I'll go get the broom now if I can. But it's going to be tough. Yankees are a great ball club, and the Mets are playing really well now, so I'm glad that they're playing well. It should be good for baseball.